Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, I want to talk on a topic. I want to touch on a topic which I've come across. Joe Calzaghe has said that Canelo is not a true super middleweight. Probably answering questions about Canelo and the fact that Canelo's obviously had a lot of success at his weight. Joe Calzaghe's weight where he, reigns supreme. Firstly, I want to point out is that Joe Calzaghe, for me, was a great fighter. Great fighter. I think he had a great career. One of the best British fighters that we produced. But I think there's a Joe Calzaghe fanboy club, which is actually starting to get very... It's actually starting to get really uncomfortable for me. As a proper boxing fan, I respect what Joe Calzaghe did in the sport. He was 46-0, had a great career. But there's some fans and his fanboys. I mean, Calzaghe has got some fan club. I mean... And literally, they think that Calzaghe is something he's not. Like I said, he was a great fighter. No doubt about it. Calzaghe was a good fighter. No, there's no doubt about it. But some people try to make out this guy was something he's not. Calzaghe had a very poor resume. I mean, his resume wasn't the greatest. If you look at down his resume wasn't the greatest resume at all. It was actually pretty poor. He defended his... WBO belt for about 10 years and not knowing who the names were that he fought. I mean, fought very subpar competition, right? There in Wales. And then he beat Roy Jones and he beat Eubank for the vacant title where Eubank was past his best, right? He then, his meaningful fight came probably 10 years after against Jeff Lacey, where he unified against the guy that a lot of people thought would beat Calzaghe, but Lacey didn't really go on to have the career that people thought he would. Maybe Calzaghe was the reason why he didn't, but the point is that Lacey wasn't that guy. He fought Roy Jones when Roy Jones was about 40 years of age. He beat Bernard Hopkins when people say Bernard Hopkins went on to win a world title after that. But that was a very close fight that many people thought Hopkins won. And it wasn't that was Hopkins not at his prime. 44 years, I don't care what he did after. It's not your prime. 44 years of age, that's how old. And people say Calzaghe was 36. There's a big difference between 36 and 44. That's 8 years almost, right? Floyd Mayweather at 36 was still the best fighter in the sport, right? So, although I think Calzaghe was a good fighter without doubt, I do think the way certain people portray him, I was having an argument with someone that was actually trying to make out that he's better than Ali and Robinson. Can you believe it? This is how delusional some of his fans are. And he's got a very delusional fan club. I mean, he was a great fighter, no doubt, but to say that Calzaghe was some kind of not top 10 fighter of all time, he wasn't anywhere close. I wouldn't put Calzaghe in the top 50. His resume wasn't strong enough. That's like saying Vladimir Klitschko should be the greatest heavyweight of all time because he reigned supreme for 10 years. And no one could beat him. Well, no, he was in an era that was pretty weak. Calzaghe had a very poor resume. If he had beaten Roy Jones in his prime and beaten Hopkins earlier on in his career, then I could say fair enough, But the resume is so poor and so weak that 46... I mean, put it this way. Floyd Mayweather, people criticize Mayweather. Mayweather beat 26 world champions. Calzaghe beat what, 10? 10. I mean, if that, I'm not even sure if he beat that many. That tells you the difference. And Calzaghe had 46 fights. Mayweather had 50 fights. 49 really. I mean, we go and count that McGregor fight. But Mayweather beat 26 world champions. And that tells you all you need to know about Floyd Mayweather's record. And people say Mayweather's record is overrated. But to say that, compare Calzaghe to Ali and Robinson is this is ludicrous. But this is the kind of... And a lot of Calzaghe fans say that he's actually underrated. He doesn't get the recognition. No. You're actually now putting him... When you're saying he's as good as Ali and he should be top 10, you're actually overrating him. He's actually overrated at that point, not underrated. Now, is he underrated in the sense that he didn't get a name, fame, like some fighters here in Britain, like maybe a Ricky Hatton, Amir Khan, Anthony Joshua? Guys like that probably earn more money, more recognition, more fame. Just because a fighter's undefeated doesn't mean anything. Mayweather was undefeated. Not how many people think he's better than Ali or better than Robinson? Very few. Yeah? Just because a fighter's undefeated, and by the way, Calzaghe for me lost to Robin Reed. I mean, any fighter that's undefeated, many of them have had fights, the very disputed fights, like Mayweather. I mean, Mayweather, a lot of people thought he lost to Castillo. And he actually did lose to Castillo, just like I thought Calzaghe lost to Robin Reed. But this is the point I'm trying to make. A lot of people push an agenda about a certain fighter that they like, and they try to make out, but then they'll criticize. Like, there's many Calzaghe fans that criticize Mayweather, yet Mayweather beat 26 world champions. Calzaghe beat probably less than 10. And that's the gulf. I mean, and people say Mayweather's resume is overrated. I'm just trying to tell you, look at the gulf between Mayweather and Calzaghe's resumes, miles apart. And this is the problem that I have with a lot of boxing fans, that they ain't boxing fans, they're fanboys of certain fighters. That's like me saying if Amir Khan was undefeated, as an Amir Khan fan, 40-0 just say, and I was to push a narrative that he's better than Ali and he's the greatest fighter ever. That's nonsense. Just because a fighter's undefeated, there's many fights. Julio Cesar Chavez, how many fights did he have before he got defeated? He smashed that 46-0 record of Calzaghe. And Calzaghe hasn't even got many notable names on there. I mean, Kessler, Lacey, Roy Jones, Hopkins, Eubank. I mean, Eubank, these, and a couple of them, 3 of them, you could say were past their prime. So how many names has Calzaghe got on his record that are actually even that recognizable, that we even think of and say, wow, look, he beat that guy, he beat that guy. I mean, if you've had 46 times, surely you would have multiple names on there. Like Mayweather. Mayweather has so many, like Canelo, De La Hoya, Pacquiao, Hatton, Zab Judah. You know, we can keep going. Corrales. You know, we can keep going. Maidana. You know, he has so many on there. So many. Like, we can keep going and going and going. I mean, the guy's beaten so many great fighters. I mean, there's probably so many fighters that I've not even listed. Mayweather beat so many great fighters. You know, I mean, this guy's beaten multiple. Sugar Shane Mosley. Cotto. We can keep going and going and going and going. Even guys like Guerrero and guys like, you know, Victor Ortiz and guys, you know, he beat so many world champions, so many good fighters. You know, and like I said, I feel like, and Mayweather doesn't get the credit. Yeah, Mayweather's resume, like I said, is leaps and levels better than Calzaghe's record. Way better. So, like, coming back to Calzaghe saying that, you know, Canelo's not a super middleweight. I mean, Canelo's the only super middleweight in the history to hold all 4 belts. And Canelo, for me, has a better resume than Joe Calzaghe at super middleweight. Who did Joe Calzaghe beat at super middleweight? Who did he beat? Let's go through who did he beat. Who did he beat that's better than Billy Joe? That's better than Caleb Plant, you know? He didn't beat, I mean, Calzaghe didn't beat those levels. He didn't even beat that. I mean, he beat Roy Jones and a shell of Roy Jones. Not Roy Jones, shell of Roy Jones and 44-year-old Bernard Hopkins. I mean, and the Hopkins fight was probably, and the Hopkins and Jones fight, I think they were at light heavyweight anyway. So at super middleweight, Kessler, who, by the way, Canelo would dismantle, by the way. And people make out like Calzaghe would have battered Canelo. On what basis? On what basis? On Calzaghe beating who exactly? Who did Calzaghe beat? Now, this is the thing. It's funny how people criticize Canelo's record, but yet Calzaghe gets such a great pat on the back. Yet, who did he beat? I mean, Kessler, these are okay fighters. I mean, Kessler's not Canelo. I mean, which fan that's not got any kind of agenda against Canelo would say Kessler's better than Canelo? I mean, has Kessler had a better career than Canelo? I mean, just because Canelo's not that big, that doesn't mean that he wouldn't, that he's not big inside, that he's not a true middleweight. I mean, Canelo's massive. Canelo punches hard. Canelo breaks faces. Canelo knocks people out. I mean, Canelo's got very good IQ. I mean, firstly, Joe Calzaghe's not Bivol. Bivol fights in a completely different way to Calzaghe. Bivol's a lot more controlled than Calzaghe was. A lot more defensively better than Calzaghe was. You know, a lot of people saying Calzaghe would have slapped Canelo all over the place. No, he wouldn't have. He didn't slap Robin Reed all over the place, did he? He didn't slap an old Roy Jones all over the place, did he? So what makes you think he'll slap a prime Canelo all over the place? You know, when he fought Reed, he was in his prime, Calzaghe, and he didn't slap Reed about. And Canelo's not Reed. He's far greater than Reed. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like a lot of Calzaghe fans, you know, seem to kind of overrate him and then they say he's underrated and he doesn't get the credit he deserves. No, he does get the credit he deserves. Everyone knows Calzaghe was a great fighter. Everybody knows Calzaghe was a great fighter. Nobody denies that Calzaghe wasn't a great fighter. What people, boxing fans, say is that his record was overrated in the sense that his name's on his record, his resume isn't that great. That's not hating on him. That's just saying the truth. His record compared to other great fighters is not comparable. I mean, you can't compare, even like I said, Mayweather. Mayweather's record is way better than Calzaghe's. Forget people like Ali and people like that. Ali beat Foreman, man. Foreman, when Ali was past his prime. He beat Liston, you know, monsters in their prime. Frazier, I mean, Norton, you know, Shavers, I mean, Henry, I mean, come on, man. That the level of resume there is just on another level. You can't, that's on another level. But even guys like Mayweather's depth of his resume is incredible. You know, like I just said, I can keep going on and reeling off names after names after names. I mean, Calzaghe, I can't reel off the names. I think what was unique about Calzaghe's career is the fact that Calzaghe was undefeated. That's about it. But just because you're undefeated, that doesn't give you the recognition for being the best ever. Mayweather's undefeated with a better record, with better people on his record. That doesn't mean that Mayweather's the number one fighter. No, it doesn't mean that. Losses generally, listen, there's been far more unbeatable, far more indestructible fighters than Calzaghe and Mayweather, and they lost. Roy Jones, for example, in his prime, was unbeatable. He lost. If you fight enough tough back-to-back competition, it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter who you are, you will lose. You will lose. So generally, when a fighter's undefeated, even though there's question marks like Mayweather and Calzaghe, there's question marks certain fights that people thought they lost. Right? It's generally the reason why you're undefeated is because, firstly, you have to be good, of course. When you fought at the level Calzaghe fought at, you have to be good. He was obviously, no one's denying that Calzaghe wasn't great. He was great. What we're denying is his record was not great. In resume, the depth of his resume wasn't great. Hence why that undefeated record was easier for him than someone that was fighting guys in their prime constantly. I mean, Ali would have been impossible for Ali with what he had to go through to be undefeated. I mean, and the guys that he fought. I mean, look at the guys that he lost to. Larry Holmes, Frazier. Yeah, he lost to Leon Spinks and avenged that loss. You know, that was probably a fight he shouldn't have lost. You know, he should be beating guys like Spinks. But, I mean, Ali had to go through a lot. His life, you know. I mean, and the guys that he lost to was hardly any shame in that. You know, so again, I just feel like certain fans have, I don't know, just find it crazy. I mean, in Canelo not being a true super middleweight, I mean, what's that all about? I mean, Canelo's a big guy. I mean, people keep going on like Canelo's a small. No, he's not. No, he's not. He'd give any super middleweight in the history fits. Any. The greatest of the greats, he'll give him fits. Because Canelo is that guy. He is that guy. You know, so that's my take anyway. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.